HighLevel also has a full telephony system and dialer built for inbound and outbound calling. The telephony features allow you to make and receive calls, drop pre-recorded voicemails, and route leads, all from one platform, boosting engagement and your capture rates. Call tracking and recording give you full visibility into which sources and messages are driving results, empowering your decisions. Auto dialers and sequence-driven calls ensure that no lead falls through the cracks, delivering timely follow-ups without manual dialing. Hi, my name's David Zimbicki, founder of the Expert Business Agency. In my career, I've sold and delivered over $200 million in consulting services. I've been using HighLevel to run my business for 4 years, and I've also supported dozens of clients running theirs. As I show you all of these areas inside HighLevel, note that I'll be inside of our Accelerate suite, which is my agency's white label version of HighLevel. If you aren't familiar with the concept, what that means is that HighLevel sells and delivers through partner agencies like mine. We take their core product, configure it for a given market, then offer solutions to clients. Everything I show in this video, though, will be native to HighLevel, no extra add-ons required. However, if you do join via my agency and use the Accelerate suite, you get HighLevel plus a number of premium add-ons, along with free access to all of my courses, co-working calls, and additional support. To learn more, click the link below this video. So let's take a look at the telephony capabilities next. So we're here in the phone numbers and phone system section. So what you can do basically is you can purchase phone numbers through HighLevel. And so if I wanted to add another number, I could come in here and I could either add a phone number or a number pool or anything like that. So if I wanted to add a phone number, you have the option. You can do 800 toll-free numbers, or you can look for particular area codes within your location if you want a local appearing type of number and so forth. So these are some of the available numbers, and then you can filter those things based on what capabilities they have and whether you want local or toll-free. So it's pretty low monthly price for that. And then there's a tiny bit of usage cost over top of that. Once you have a number, there's a lot of hoops to jump through these days with compliance. It's not HighLevel's fault. It's a thing in the industry and with carriers. But there is this thing called A2P verification, which you can do through HighLevel. So you can see that my number obviously here is verified, but they give you a lot of options up here for being able to help with that. So you can go in here and do some things, but the Trust Center is really the one that you want to look at. So again, approved for SMS and messaging, and then some of these other things are in there as well. And there's a new voice integrity one that I guess I need to go through and register for. But as long as you're legit and you do the right things there and you set up the things correctly, you will have a phone number in HighLevel that you can then use for a bunch of different scenarios, which we'll take a look at. In messaging, they do help you stay compliant. So you can put the mandatory language in there for opt-in and opt-outs. You can have limits and things like that on here if you need, and then you can analyze your messages and so forth. And then if you've gotten restricted at all or anything like that, then you'll have that notification in here as well. At the top, you can see voice. So you can decide HighLevel when you call through HighLevel, which you can do at any point. Like up here is the little phone button. So if I wanted to call someone from here, as long as the system has access to your microphone on your computer, you're able to make calls. You can look for your contacts in here and then make a call. If you want to drop a voicemail or hear any voicemail that you've had, you can do that here. And then you can also set up queues, like if you have sales teams and stuff like that, you could add that in there. So that's always available, the call button. And then when you do make calls, you can optionally have call recording turned on and call transcription. So that stuff is enabled by default as you're doing that. There is voicemail capability in here. Now that's what I would call traditional old school voicemail, which is just hey, we're not here, leave a message. What it's prompting you here is you can actually connect AI bots to the voice numbers so that you can have AI agents answering calls, acting like a receptionist, getting people to try and book appointments with you and so forth. So that's what that's all about. And you can set up voice AI, which we'll do in a separate video. If you want to have call scripts, so if you do a particular script for sales calls or other calls, you can add those in there. And then when anybody's using the phone system, it can pop one of those scripts up onto the screen. If you have physical locations or offices, there are certain desktop phones and phone systems that are compatible with HighLevel. So if you want to have a physical phone on your desk, but that is going through the HighLevel phone system, you can do that. And there's a few other various random settings in here. So you can forward calls and do things like that. And like I said, there's also a whole IVR system in here where you can have phone trees and route calls to different numbers and users within the system and phone numbers and so on. So it's quite robust from a voice and telephony point of view. For outbound calls, there's a couple other settings. Avoid calling people during quiet hours in their time zone, which phone number you want outbound calls to go through. This is an interesting new one, local presence dialing. So if you're a larger company or you're across a state that has multiple area codes or stuff like that, if you buy additional phone numbers, and let's say you have phone numbers from the 5 different area codes in your state, then when you go to make an outbound call to a contact, it will look up that contact, what their phone number is, and then try and pick from your set of numbers a local matching area code. So again, just so it makes it look like it's a more local call to the person. So lots of things we can do with the HighLevel phone system. But at this point, you're also probably thinking that it must be complicated setting all this up or migrating to it from whatever you're using today. There's some truth to that, but it's also another area where HighLevel absolutely shines, which is that they empower agencies like mine to pre-create a lot of the setup and configuration in what are called snapshots so that we can really accelerate the time to value for our users. In other words, when clients subscribe to the Accelerate suite, which is our white label version of HighLevel, we deploy the relevant snapshot for their type of business where a large amount of the setup is already completed. Then we also have our community and co-working calls where we sit side by side and help clients get their system up and running. For folks that want to move as fast as possible, we also have fully done for you options as well. Most importantly, leveraging HighLevel does not mean you have to rip and replace everything you have. You can use as many or as few of the features we showed in this video as you need right now, and then add or migrate over time. Now at this point, I'm guessing you're excited about the potential, but also have questions. I mean, a good consultant always has questions, right? That's why I offer free tech strategy sessions for consultants and founders that want to see if it's a good fit for their business. Just check the links below this video to grab a time to chat, and we'll talk about your specific requirements and whether the features and capabilities inside of HighLevel can achieve those and help you build and grow your business.